Right, so welcome back to the possibility practice. You're now in module two. In module one, you just defined the stuck moment. So in module two here, we're going to move into interrupting the pattern thinking that's happening. This step matters quite a bit because teams typically aren't stuck because of the problem itself. They're stuck because of the story they're telling themselves about the problem from either their past experiences or some biases. You will recognize when there's some pattern interruption needed when your team uses certain phrases, such as, "We've tried that before," "Leadership would never support that," or "We don't have the things we need to move forward." While these interpretations do feel like facts, they may not necessarily be the reality that the team's dealing with. This step focuses on three things: cognitive reframing, attribution patterns, and assumption spotting. So here's the activity to run with your team. The first step is called list the facts. And what you're going to have the team do is individually list everything they believe to be true about the situation. Have them write them all down with no filtering. Step two is to sort the facts from the storytelling that's happening. You do this by asking your team to go down their list and mark the things they wrote with the following: which ones may be assumptions, predictions, interpretations, fears, and past experiences. By doing that, we get teams to start breaking down the pattern thinking that happens. Ask the team to go down their list and choose one thing they wrote. They're going to select that one and change it into a possibility. So ask one of the two following questions, or both if needed, to guide their actions. What if the opposite were true? Or they can answer what else might be true with it. Asking these types of questions helps them open the door to new interpretations, which people sometimes need the push to do. So let's recap those steps real quick. First, you're going to have them make their lists. Second, you're going to have them mark their assumptions. And third, you're going to have them turn it into a possibility focus by looking at what else might be true. Here's a simple script to use that might help you guide this process with your team. We're going to separate what we know from what we're assuming. This isn't about right or wrong. It's about seeing the full picture. I want you to list everything we believe is true about the situation. Keep this in a nice neutral and open tone so that the team knows that we're not looking for mistakes, but we're just looking for thinking patterns. Here's what to watch for as you start working through this process. First, a lot of assumptions will be stated as certainties. When you see that starting to happen, you can ask things like, how do we know this is true, and what might be different than the previous experience? You can also ask, where might the opportunity be? Second, you're going to get a lot of predictions disguised as facts. This will show up with phrases like, "This is going to fail," or "This always fails." If this happens in the process, your job as the facilitator isn't to challenge the people directly, but to ask a question to open up new thinking. So rephrase the things as, "Well, how might we?" That "how might we" question is a real good driver to switch the thinking lens that people are using. When you take time to interrupt pattern thinking, you loosen the grip on the old stories. That sets you up well for module three, where we're going to work on shrinking the problem. We'll see you there in a couple moments.